Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our pinning ceremonies. If everyone could please be seated so we can get started, we'd appreciate it. Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Jamie Poggles, and I have the privilege of being the dean here at North Central Michigan College. The last time I attended a pinning ceremony, it was my own, so that was a very long time ago. One might think that the ceremony would have changed through time, but actually it's very much the same. It's a time-honored tradition. And that's because nurse pinning is a very important part of every graduate's life, and it is initiation of them into the Fellowship of Nursing. So as the Dean of Nursing here at North Central Michigan College, it is my pleasure to warmly welcome all of you in the audience to the 2019 Nurse Pinning Ceremony and to share in this very special occasion with you. But as a nurse, it is my very privileged honor to welcome each of you here sitting on the stage into the profession of nursing, and to say that I look forward to working with each of you as a colleague in the future. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, I want to congratulate our nursing graduates for their success in navigating a very tough program. Nursing is not for the faint of heart. And faculty in this nursing program in particular are very demanding. They demand 110%. And the individuals you see here tonight have not only given 110%, they've given even more. I could stand up here and go on and on about what makes a good nurse, but you already know what makes a good nurse because you know one of these individuals sitting up here. Indeed, you have probably given a good nurse gas money so they can get to clinical. You may have made a good nurse coffee at 4 a.m. so that they can stay awake for clinical. Or you may have had the honor of throwing a good nurse's scrubs in the washer at 2 a.m. because they forgot when they were busy studying. And I'll bet that you have had the absolute privilege, many times over, of listening to a good nurse shriek in frustration because they could not remember 20 chapters of text material verbatim for a test. These are all memories that we have of nursing school. But lastly, I know many of you have held a good nurse's hand, hugged them, dried their tears, and encouraged them when they felt like they could not go on. I know I speak for all of us, faculty, college leadership, staff, and graduates when I say thank you to each of you in the audience for being instrumental in the success of our nursing program. Your tireless work behind the scenes may not be the center of attention, but it definitely does not go unnoticed. And to our nursing graduates who have learned that health is a very complex concept that describes a state of wholeness or integrity and not merely the absence of disease, I hope that you have learned that although memorizing terms and diseases is important, applying those concepts to help another person is even more important. And ultimately, making a connection with others is the most important and often the most difficult skill to acquire. Indeed, sometimes you can't fix a person. Your best efforts will fail, and you, perhaps, will be all that you have to give another person who is suffering. I think you will find that often just being present in that person's moment of need or time of trouble is enough. And once again, I want to congratulate each of you and welcome you to the profession of nursing practice. You are each amazing in your own way, and never doubt that. And now I would like to welcome Alicia Schofield, who will introduce and recognize faculty.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all for joining us in this wonderful and extremely well-deserved moment in each and every one of our lives. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alicia. For those of you who do, you're welcome. I'm honored to be standing here in front of you today. I am also honored to have been the represented as president for the last 2 years for each and every one of you amazing, smart, hardworking, and dedicated nursing students. But before I start my speech, I just need to make sure of one thing. Hey, Jim, you got any questions? All right. Well, if Jim doesn't have any questions, we can carry on. And if y'all don't mind, this part of the speech I wrote for them, so I'm going to direct it toward them. Wow, this is kind of weird, guys, because I'm used to sitting in the back of the class. It's nice to see your pretty faces, especially being all new, brand new baby nurses. I cannot tell you how amazing this journey has been, doing this with all of you by my side. We did it. That's just amazing in itself. When starting this journey, I'm sure not one of us actually knew what we were about to embark on. Evidence base has proven that nursing school is not for the weak. 2 years of dedication to what seems like complete consumption of our lives that didn't leave much time for our families, our friends, to work, and definitely not a lot of time to sleep. However, this part of our journey has come to an end. Now it is your time to shine. You are all going to be amazing no matter what avenue you decide to take. Be proud of yourselves and keep your chin up, because just like nursing school, stresses will continue to follow you. It is what being a good nurse is all about, stress. It means you care. If you aren't stressed, there's something wrong, and we definitely learned that throughout nursing school. And after these last 2 years with all of you, I can tell you guys all care a whole lot. So congrats to all of you. I also wanted to make sure to make a point that we have been very blessed because we did this all with the help of some amazing, beautiful, and incredibly smart professors and adjunct faculty. You are all there for us on this journey. And so much, including so many things that were not even related to nursing school. The endless emails, text messages, and always leaving the door open for every one of us just to let it all out. This is something that we will never forget and always be thankful for. So thank you for helping us grow, and thank you for being more than just teachers, but our friends. I have no doubt that these new baby nurses will make you all proud. I also wanted, on a side note, to wish a very, very happy birthday, 30th birthday, to Mary Donor, one incredibly amazing and inspirational woman in our nursing program. So, happy birthday. And then I also wanted to say good luck to all of you on your nursing careers. I am honored to call you all my fellow nurses. The world is your oyster, my friends. Shuck it. Next, I'd like to welcome Caitlin Goodrich.
I'm tall. Sorry, you're gonna have to put this back down, Mom. Our next speaker is a 2016 NCMC nursing graduate coming to us with years of experience and care across the lifespan. Alicia Goodrich, RN, AKA Leash, AKA Nurse Ratchet, AKA Mom.
Oh my, so I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna apologize to everybody for forewarn you on any blubbering, crying, all that. I apologize now. So, I'm famous for crying. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight for this monumental moment in these students' lives. As you were just told, my name's Alicia Goodrich, a registered nurse and a 2016 graduate of the NCMC nursing program, and I'm honored to be standing before you today. Just after graduating in 2016, I accepted a position at McLaren Northern Michigan as a registered nurse. McLaren had been my home as a patient care tech for approximately a year and a half prior to becoming a nurse. Although I loved my job as a tech, and I loved working for McLaren, all through my nursing school journey, I felt myself leaning towards long-term care. Shortly after starting at McLaren as a nurse, I made a difficult decision to leave because I just didn't feel it was my perfect fit, and it just wasn't my calling. I transferred to Boulder Park Terrace in Charlevoix and also took a contingent position at Munson Healthcare Hospital in Charlevoix. This is the wonderful thing I have learned about nursing. The journey can lead you in all directions. Not one path is paved permanently, and not every person is the perfect fit for that type of nursing. The beauty of it is that's okay. Nursing is a beautiful career that extends in so many directions, and we are needed in all of them. There are no limits. Currently, I remain an employee of McLaren Northern Michigan at Boulder Park Terrace. I started on nights exhausting myself with very little sleep, and after a year and a half on nights, it led me to taking a position as a daytime rehab nurse. I only held that position for approximately 8 months. This past December, I accepted a new position at Boulder Park. Currently, my new position involves overseeing day-to-day compliance. I oversee proper medication administration, medication storage, education of staff, and all those things that we dread when the state walks through the door of our facilities. The great part about my new position is that I love it. If you asked me 3 years ago if I thought my career as a nurse would lead me to walking around saying, hey, you did that wrong, or what if the state surveyor was standing before you, well, I probably would have thought no. I am happy to say, though, I love my job. I love those I work with. I love being able to pat someone on the back when they are doing right, but also offering the education they need when they need more guidance. But most of all, I love when I still have the opportunity to jump in and do hands-on care with our residents who I hold dear to my heart. I am truly blessed. So enough about all that. The real purpose is 2 small letters, RN. Those are letters I never imagined would follow my name. I can't explain the pride I still feel today, 3 years later. This past Christmas, my sister gave me a handmade pen. Sorry. And across it, it read, Alicia Goodrich, RN. Those 2 small letters, once again, brought tears to my eyes. Excuse me. I just couldn't stop them from falling. It's a pride I can't even explain. The hard work and drive that went into receiving those 2 small letters is something these students before me can completely relate to. Although they do not carry them quite yet, the day is near when they will be overwhelmed with the joy when their name is also followed with the letters RN. We all have our own achievements in our lives that overwhelm us when they come to mind, and this one is mine. As a child, I dreamed of becoming a psychologist. Later in life, I was going to be an OB nurse. Here I am today, not an OB nurse, but a nurse nonetheless. So the question is this: how is it that I have the honors of standing before you today and delivering this speech? I will start with this. For me, wanting a family was never a question. Early in life, I chose the path of raising a family. By 25, I gave birth to 4 beautiful children. My last were a set of twins. There's no denying my life was chaotic, busy at all times, juggling toddler days and teenage attitudes. By the way, I never want to go back to those days. I thought there was no greater challenge, and then I went to nursing school. Boy, was I wrong. I took on being a mother with 100% drive, and I was determined to create a beautiful life for my children. With having a large family and the high price of daycare costs, I chose to run a daycare out of my home in order to provide for them. For 15 years, I had the pleasure of meeting some beautiful and loving children and touching their lives. Although not what I wanted to do forever, it was a choice I made for the good of my family, and I wouldn't change that decision for anything. In 2012, and at the age of 40, and with the push of my husband, Rob, driving me to do something more, I started college here at NCMC. The struggles were real with having a large family, running a daycare, and taking on the challenge of college. However, I refused to let this stop me. I carried on, driven to succeed and show my children that anything was possible if you set your mind to it. Although there were times I wanted to give up, I felt I was inadequate in one area of my life or another, sad when I missed one of my children's sporting events or an awards banquet at their school. I forfeited those moments to do what I needed to do to study for those exams or finish an assignment coming up due, because I knew the rewards would outweigh our losses. I pushed forward and entered the nursing program in the fall of 2014. I did my best to do well in school, and I'm proud to say I graduated with honors. I also did my best to run my daycare and provide for my family. Daycare brought me a lot of challenges, but also gifts in life. It was during this time a special child came into my life. This is the part where I'll struggle. For multiple years, I cared for her, and for all her years to come, she remained a special part of mine and my family's lives, becoming best friends with our middle daughter, Tori. In 2014, I received a concerning call from the local high school of a girl in need. From that point on, we took her into our home as family, and we never looked back. On June 1st of 2016, we gave her our name. I'm proud to be here to speak before you today and also to pin her as she becomes an RN. Today, my daughter, Caitlin Renee Goodrich, will walk across this stage and follow in my path in becoming a registered nurse. She also will carry those 2 small letters. She's a true example that despite obstacles in life, you can do and become anything you want to be. I feel truly blessed to be delivering this speech. I'm so proud of my daughter's drive and hard work to be sitting here before you. So enough about all that. So now this is about all of you. So congratulations to all of you. Way to go. Enough about me, because today is about all of you. You are finally allowed to breathe. So take a nice deep breath. I'm sure this is something you guys have not done for a while. The day you have been anxiously awaiting for the past 2 years has arrived, and nursing school is ultimately over. 2 years, that's right. You deserve that. 2 years of never-ending challenges is finally complete. Those strenuous and white-knuckling moments that nursing school allowed you to enjoy, okay, maybe enjoy is a bad choice of words, but either way, they are over. I'm sure you all remember your first skills test with the double stethoscope. By the way, I totally choked on this one myself and let the nerves get the best of me. As you can tell, I'm a little bit of a nervous person. I'm pretty sure Arena thought this girl is never going to make it through the first semester. So if you did, Arena, you were wrong. What about the endless hours of prep sheets? I'm sure none of you will forget the long nights after you finished a stressful day of clinical, and now you have hours of work before you to complete these dreaded papers. And that uniform that you wore, dressed with precision and completely flawless, to be at your clinical rotation early, and of course not a moment late, doing your 5 writes and 3 checks with no margin for error, afraid of the next exam. I know you guys all know this very recently. Afraid of the next exam and worrying it would be the one that damages your dreams. How about counting how many questions you can get wrong on the final to still pass the semester? Yet being afraid to look online when grades were finally posted and fearing it's under the magical number of 80 we all knew you had to strive for. Well, it ends today. You are finally free. The one thing I have learned is that if it was easy, it probably holds no value. This is one of the hardest things you have ever done or ever will do with your life. What I also know is you have earned this moment in time. So take it all in and be proud of those 2 small letters. Now the question is, what will you make of it? Here's what I can tell you. Explore and have fun, and don't listen to others that deter you from making choices for you. The wonderful thing about nursing is there is a place for all of you. Maybe you'll be an ER nurse, maybe NICU, med-surg or a long-term care nurse, maybe the school nurse or family practice nurse. There is no right or wrong. So do what you feel is best for you. Make it what you want it to be. You get to choose and create a life that you are proud of, so run with it. Don't be afraid to explore multiple paths. This is the beauty of nursing. The opportunities are endless. Have compassion. You are the light in someone's darkest days, so be the hand to hold and the shoulder to cry on. Advocate for what you know is right. In that moment, they need you, and you can make their challenging times a little bit easier. Set the example for those around you and inspire them to drive for more. Do not demean those whose credentials are less than yours. You could be the changing factor in their life that makes them strive for more. Remember, you are not better than, you are equal, but have made different choices. It's never too late to do that. Trust me, I know. My point to all of you is to stay humble, but always dream big. Be proud, but never stop inspiring others. You have walked a difficult and challenging road. Now live up to what those 2 small letters truly stand for. I will end with this. In the words of Florence Nightingale, nursing is an art, and if it is to be made an art, it requires an exclusive devotion, as hard a preparation as any painter or sculptor's work. Continue to strive, to learn, and to achieve for all the greatness you have to offer to this great career. but please always hold those 2 small letters close to your heart and never stop aiming to be the best RN you can be. Thank you.
And now we'd like to start the pinning. So if you see your loved one sitting in the front row, please make your way to the stage if you're pinning them. Candace Bacon. Candace is being pinned by her daughter Addison and her boyfriend Ben. She would like to thank them for being there through all the late nights and early mornings and for being supportive and understanding and for always loving her and putting up with her even when she was tough to be around. You both gave her the encouragement and motivation she needed to continue to get up for clinical every morning, even when she wanted to quit. Thank you to the rest of her family for encouraging her throughout the last 2 years. She would like to give a special thank you to Papa and Mamu, her sister Marissa, and Pam and Bernard Coleza for caring for Addie and for giving her a loving place to go while she was at school. She couldn't have done this without you all. Thank you all to all of her instructors who gave her the encouragement and reassurance that this was the right career choice and for giving her the confidence she needed. And lastly, thank you to all of our classmates who stayed after clinical in the library with her and got up early to study at McDonald's before every exam. Thank you to Miranda Beebe for being there and being the only friend who really understands what nursing school is like. We did it.
Miranda Beebe. Miranda Beebe is being pinned by her boyfriend Bobby. She would like to thank him and their children Landon, Lakin, and Tyson for providing endless support and motivation during the last 2 years, for picking up the slack when she couldn't bear stay awake another hour after clinical, and for always questioning her ability to function normal again. Without them, this journey would not have been possible. She'd also like to thank the rest of her family and give a special thank you to grandparents Liz and Chuck, parents Doug and Danielle, and in-laws Becky and Glenn Hill, for the encouragement and perseverance during the most difficult times. She'd also like to thank her classmates and greatest supporter and friend, Candace, for always being the shoulder she can depend on. Lastly, she'd like to take a moment to acknowledge her late mother, Julie, for loving and nurturing her into the woman she is today, while never underestimating Miranda's ability to strive for what she loved.
Alexis Bell. Lexi is being pinned by her partner, Jeremiah. If she could, she would be pinned by every person who is here to support her today. Without all of them, nursing school would have been a much higher mountain to climb. She would like to thank her parents and step-parents for being there, answering her calls, cooking her food, and listening to her long rants. Her sister for cheering her on and inspiring her to be the best nurse and big sister she can be. Her husband for being an inspiring, endlessly loving, and supportive life partner, and her circle of friends for believing in her. Unwavering love is what got her through the past 2 years and will support her for the years to come. And bearing witness to the patients' lives and being there to care for them is a lifelong dream that Lexi is honored to achieve.
Ashley Birch. Ashley Birch is being pinned by her mother, Elaine Birch. She would like to thank her parents, Wayne and Elaine, and sister Allison for the endless support and patience throughout this journey. A special thanks to her friends for being so understanding and always encouraging her to push forward. Thank you to the lifelong friends that she has made over the last few years. She couldn't have made it through without your smiles and laughter. She will miss you all. Lastly, thank you to her grandparents who could not be here. You are the reason she stands here today.
John Mark Champion. John Mark is being pinned by his mother, Sarah Champion, and his girlfriend, Maureen O'Neill. He would like to thank them for helping him through this long journey, because without them, he wouldn't have made it this far. He would also like to thank all of those that have offered him advice and support, including his professors, family, friends, and colleagues.
Mary Donner. Happy birthday. Mary Donner is being pinned by her phenomenal husband, Kevin, and her adorable children, Mia, Makai, Kiwaden, and Kittigay, who have all been essential to her success in this program, fueling her dedication during the tough times and providing the motivation to keep pushing forward through their unconditional love and support. Kevin, Mary couldn't have done this without your humility, patience, and selflessness. She thanks you for picking up more than your fair share of household tasks, managing the children, and for being the most memorable, hilarious study buddy her group could ask for. Kids, your mom thanks you for displaying maturity past your years, being patient when she's stressed, for your amazing hugs, kisses, and lovings, and for your exuberant cheerleading. Mary would also like to thank her mother, Gretchen, for being a pillar of strength and an incredible role model, her siblings and friends for their support and encouragement, her instructors for their direction and guidance during the last 2 years, and lastly, her classmates for their humor, their openness, their shared agony, their tolerance, and for being the most awesome people to endure this journey with.
Lynn Eckerly. Lynn is being pinned by Erin Eckerly. She would like to extend a heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to friends and family who have supported her challenging and rewarding return to school. She is blessed with the unwavering support of her children, Ethan and Erin Eckerly, and their father, Brian Eckerly, and her dear friends Lisa, Shelley, and Megan, who had suffered and rejoiced with her every step of the way. She is in debt to her amazing classmates, proud of you all. Each of you provided her encouragement at exactly the right time. She is pleased her parents, Don and Marilyn Jana, are in attendance. There is no better graduation gift. Additionally, she is grateful for Pierre and Renee Bora, the Michigan Nurses Association, and the Offield Family Scholarships, and Boyne USA, her student employer, who worked around every clinical shift. Lastly, she would like to thank NCMC staff and nursing instructors, every RN preceptor, and all hospital and community agencies for hosting her as a student.
Brittany Gibbs. Brittany Gibbs is being pinned by her aunt, Ruth Ann Andrews, retired nurse, who has been her inspiration to follow her dream and become a nurse herself. She would like to thank Professor Taylor for being such a strong mentor and pushing her to do her best, even when it seemed impossible. Professor Drury, Paquette, Stabile, Hill, and O'Shaughnessy for imparting nursing knowledge on her and sculpting her into the amazing nurse she will become. Instructor Migda and Holgren for their patience and dedication during clinical. The Bora family for their generous donations. Her mom and dad for teaching her determination and tenacity, her aunts and uncles for always having an open heart and an ear to listen, her sisters and brothers for the all-day, everyday pep talks, outpouring words of encouragement, and a lifetime of friendship, support and love, especially in times when it was hard for her to love herself, her nieces and nephews for all the love and laughs that were given in times she needed them the most, her in-laws for their continued guidance and constant praise, her children for their selflessness, understanding, and unconditional love they have shown, and most appreciation and thank you goes out to her amazing husband, Corey, the best late-night study partner, paper editor, and researcher for being the rock she always needed, keeping her grounded, making sure there was hot coffee and clean scrubs every morning and dinners at night. With all the sacrifice and being the best husband, father, and so much more without a single complaint. Thank you. I could not have done this without each and every one of you.
Nicole Goldsmith. Nicole is being pinned by her daughter Haley Goldsmith and her grandmother Carolyn Lewis. She would like to thank her daughter because she would never have gone back to school if it were not for wanting to provide a better life for her. She would like to thank her grandmother because she is the closest person she has to her mother. She has always supported her and told her how proud she was of her throughout the past few years. She would like to thank each and every person that was there for her, supported her, and encouraged her. Thank you to her husband, Chris, her biggest supporter, who stepped in at home and with the kids, Adam and Haley. He kept the house clean, food on the table, laundry done, and everything else so she could focus and worry on school. She would like to thank her best friend, Brittany, for spending countless hours studying with her and always being there whenever she needed her. She wants to thank all the instructors for being extremely compassionate and caring, especially Kim Drury for being there for her through the first year of the program, for always listening and giving advice. If it was not for her, she wouldn't have stayed in the program and be graduating today.
Caitlin Goodrich. Caitlin is being pinned by her mother, Alicia. Caitlin would like to thank all of her friends and family for their endless love and support, and especially her mom, as she is the sole reason Caitlin joined the program. She hopes to be half the nurse she is. P.S. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for the debit card. Also, thank you to her fiancé, Dalton, for being her best friend and listening to her endless school stories and supporting them during this last year. Thank you to Elisa Schofield and Alicia Lasley for being her nursing buddies and having her back. And lastly, she would like to thank her professors for pushing her in class and in clinical to be the best nurse possible.
Christy Grandy. Christy is being pinned by her daughter, Stella. She would like to thank her friends and family for their support, her professors for their guidance, her mother, Jolene, and her daughter, Stella, for their encouragement. If you haven't made your way up here to pin, please do so now.
Heidi Hagan. Heidi would like to thank her friends and family for letting her gross them out with clinical stories and still supporting her, and for reluctantly carrying her backpack full of textbooks. She would also like to thank the FedEx for being a great crash pad and making the best rice. Today she is being pinned by her grandmother and greatest cheerleader in her nursing career, Luann Curtis, who recently retired from 44 years of nursing experience.
Sydney Hogerhead. Sydney is being pinned by one of her best friends, Maria. She wants to thank Maria for cutting back on her sleep hours to talk longer than usual just to make her feel better during a nursing school breakdown. Sydney also wants to thank her friends, family, and nursing professors for continuous love and support. 2 years ago, when Sydney's friends asked her when she would be available, she told them May of 2019. Thank you for waiting.
Klaus Yagi. Klaus is being pinned by his mother, Lena, and his girlfriend, Brooke. He would like to thank his parents for their support over the last 2 years, along with his friends for putting up with his increased absence due to studying. He would also like to thank all his classmates for the help and encouragement they provided throughout school, and Brooke for pushing him to apply to nursing school by convincing him he was actually smart enough to pass.
Lily Kingma. Lily will be pinned by her parents, John and Shayna, and her brothers, Colin and Jackson. Lily would like to thank her family for their constant love and support throughout the last 2 years. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible. She would especially like to thank her mom for dealing with her end-of-the-world breakdowns when she got anything less than an A. She would like to thank her friends, study buddies, and professors for pushing her to be the best that she can be.
Alicia Lasley. Alicia is being pinned by her boyfriend Matthew, who graduated from this program last year and understands all of the hard work it takes to get to this stage. She also wants to thank everyone who helped her throughout these last 2 years, her instructors and professors for being role models and inspiring her to be the best nurse, as well as always pushing her to perform her best. Barb and John for always being there for anything she needed. Lastly, all of her family, friends, and coworkers who were always there for support and encouragement when she needed it most. Every one of you has helped her get to this point, and she will be forever grateful.
Mary LeBlanc. Mary is being pinned by her niece and goddaughter, Natalie, as well as her mom, Peggy, and sister, Emily. She would like to hug her mom and her sisters, Emily, Jenny, Katie, and Elizabeth, for just being the best and always encouraging her. She would like to thank her professors, Kim, Lisa, and Laura Hill, for always supporting her and helping her along the way, pushing her to be the best she could. And lastly, she would like to thank the entire nursing class of 2019. Every laugh, every joke, and every clinical, she was glad to be with such an amazing bunch of people.
Taylor Mendel. Taylor is being pinned by her dad, Len, and mom, Rebecca. She would like to thank her wonderful parents, her siblings, Rach, Steph, and Zach, fiance, Sander, and extended family for all of their unending love and support. She would like to thank her nursing friends for the many hours of studying and thousands of cups of coffee they consumed, and professors for continually motivating her to do her best. She would especially like to thank God for being beside her every step of the way. She could not have done it alone.
Jordan McMasters. Jordan is being pinned by her son Christopher and her husband Chris. She would like to thank her family for the continuous support and encouragement throughout the program, and a special thank you to her son for his patience and sacrifice of playtime so she could study the past 2 years. And thank you to her husband for supporting her and working around her always changing school schedule. She would also like to thank her sister-in-law, Maria, and her father-in-law, Randy, for all their help with little Christopher. She couldn't have done it without you.
Ben McMurray. Ben McMurray is being pinned by his wife, Brittany, who has already gone above and beyond in tolerating his behavior over the past 2 years. He would also like to thank Mark and Lori, additionally, Sarah and Christy for their superb therapeutic communication and support. Lastly, he would like to give a shout out to Dr. Jim.
Erin Moran. Erin is being pinned by her husband Nick and sons Eli and Jax. Erin would like to thank her husband for everything he has done from taking care of the kids to providing for the family so she could pursue this opportunity. She couldn't have done this without you. She would also like to thank her mom for all of the support and help with the kids. Thank you to Jason for helping out and dropping off the kids on clinical days. Thank you to Savannah for carpooling and study sessions. A big thank you to her professors for being amazing teachers. She couldn't have done this without the love and support from the family, and she will be forever grateful.
Mark Peters. Mark Peters is being pinned by his mother Paulette and father Mark. He would like to thank them for all the support they have given him throughout the years in dealing with his stress. Mark would also like to give the biggest thank you to his great friend Hannah Schaefer for helping him keep his sanity, studying with him through those long nights, assignments, and exams. He could not have completed this very difficult program without her. Mark would also like to thank his colleagues for the education and support at McLaren Northern Michigan Hospital, Villa at the Bay, and Isabella County Medical Care Facility. And of course, his professors for the tools that have helped him become the safe and knowledgeable nurse that he is today. Mark will initially be working on a medical surgical unit at McLaren. See you at the bedside.
Diana Petrulius. Diana is being pinned by her husband Michael and father-in-law George and mother-in-law Jan. She would like to thank her family for continuously supporting her through nursing school and supporting her dreams. She would also like to thank her nursing partner Sydney, who has made getting through this program a blast. Lastly, she would like to thank all the nursing professors for making the nursing experience fun and for their support through clinical and the school year.
Tanner Renkevich. Tanner is being pinned by her mother, Janet Renkevich. She would like to thank her family and friends for all of their love, support, and patience throughout her schooling. She also has a special thank you to all of her professors, fellow nursing students, and hospital staff for everything that they have done to prepare her for her nursing career.
Jim Seidenwater. Jim is being pinned by his wife and son. He would like to thank his wife Esther for picking up the slack with finances, household chores, and emotional support. He thanks Philip for taking on extra responsibilities around the house and for being a great kid. He also wants to thank his relatives who have provided constant encouragement during this journey.
Desiree Shadig. Desiree will be pinned by her fiance, Tony Friday. She would like to thank her fiance, Tony, for supporting her throughout this process and giving her the encouragement to attend nursing school. And to her children, Casey and Finley, thanks for being patient and understanding throughout this journey. She would also like to thank her parents, Kirk and Shirley, and her in-laws, Bruce and Sarah, for their countless hours of support and help with the boys.
Hannah Schaefer. Hannah is being pinned by her mother and father, Carrie and Phil Schaefer. She would like to thank all of her loved ones, friends, and family included, for being such an impeccable support system. A special thank you must be given to her parents for being her inspiration and providing her with a solid foundation on which to build a future, as well as her sister Ashley, for setting a perfect example on how to put 110% forward while reaching for her goals. In addition, she would like to thank her boyfriend, Brandon, for constantly being by her side, studying his brains out, and never getting upset about hearing her constantly complain about how exhausted she is. Last but absolutely not least, she would like to give a special thanks to her great friend, Mark Peters, for being her rock when the waters got rough. And of course, a huge shout out to all of her classmates and professors for braving this incredible journey with her.
Alicia Rose Schofield. Alicia is being pinned by her mother, Lori Wynn. She would like to thank her family, friends, and coworkers for all their love and unconditional support throughout the nursing program. Also, thank you to all of her professors and adjunct faculty for their support and always being there for her when she needed them. A special thank you to her amazing husband, Cody, for taking care of her share of the household duties and making her dinner every night with minimal complaints and always listening to her wonderful daily stories of how amazing nursing school was.
Savannah Cecilia. Savannah is being pinned by her fiance, Tyler, and her son, Colton. She would like to thank her parents and siblings for their love and support and for helping with Colton so she could study and go to clinical at 5 a.m. She sends a special thank you to Tyler for being by her side on this journey and for his constant love and encouragement. And to Colton, thank you for being the biggest motivator and giving her strength and a smile when she needed it the most.
Erin Steeb. Erin is being pinned by her parents, Scott and Laura Steeb. She would like to thank her parents for their unconditional love and support during her schooling and allowing her to continue to work towards her goals. She would also like to thank all her family for their support during her schooling, as well as a big thank you to her fiance, Zach, who unfortunately can't be here tonight because he is currently deployed. But he has continued to be her rock and strength on the hard days, even when he is halfway across the world.
Hillary Taylor. Hillary is being pinned by her husband, Nathan Taylor. She wants to thank him for his help and support through this journey. She couldn't have done this without him by her side. She also wants to thank her parents, Keith and Sharon, and her whole family for being her biggest cheerleaders along the way. Their love and support has been instrumental to her success. In addition to her family, she wants to thank her friends who have stood by patiently during her social absence. Lastly, she wants to thank her friends Angie and Kayla for providing her the motivation and encouragement that helped get her here today.
Katie Veroni. Katie is being pinned by Jason and Nicole Veroni and would like to thank her parents for supporting her through school, emotionally and financially. She would also like to take the time to thank her grandma Phyllis for always being there on late nights and early mornings over the phone. She wouldn't be here without you guys.
Amy Waldron. Amy is being pinned by her son, River Began, with the help of his father, Reed Began. She is excited to be completing the nursing program here at NCMC. She couldn't have done this without the inspiration of her son, River, who drove her to overcome challenges and to achieve her very best. Her family has been her motivation and support through enduring this challenging program, an important part of her success. She has reached a significant goal in her life, which she is proud of. She is grateful for all of those who are part of making it become a reality.
Sarah Wilson. Sarah Wilson is being pinned by her husband, Matt. She would like to thank her friends and family for their support and encouragement, her professors for their guidance, Christy and Ben for the hours of studying, and her husband, Matt, for everything. And as always, a special shout out to Dr. Jim.
And now for the lighting ceremony and nursing pledge, Lisa Stabell.
Please stand. In full knowledge of the obligations I am taking, I promise to care for the sick with regard, all outstanding, I possess without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and to refrain from any action that might endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level and to give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing and to uphold the integrity of the nurse. And now Lexi Bell will do the closing.
The nursing class of 2019 would like to thank you all for participating in this special celebration with us. This concludes our ceremony for the evening. Please join us for a reception in the library. Families, please follow your graduate to the library.